World number one Carlos Alcaraz will take on 22-time Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic in a blockbuster semi-final clash in the French Open. This was the match that everyone was waiting for when the French Open draw were announced a fortnight ago. With history, world number one ranking, and a lot more on the line, can Alcaraz deny Djokovic a shot at a record 23rd Grand Slam title? That's what we are going to discuss in this live. Hello and welcome to WION Sports Xtra. I am Nikhil Mathur and I'm joined by my sports editor Divya Singh Deo and by my colleague Vidur Kathuria. On current basis, do you think Alcaraz is the favorite because he has been dominating the field like anything?
Carlos Alcaraz has been dominating three-set matches. Okay, there's a reason why the Grand Slam is the Grand Slam. It's the best of five. And yes, if you do a straw poll right now, most of the people out there will say Alcaraz. But I just think that the reason why Djokovic, Nadal and Federer were on a different level was the way they played the five-setters. Let's go back 2 years. 2-0 up against Tsitsipas, 2-0 up in the French Open final. Who won that? Novak Djokovic. Rafael Nadal, 2 sets and a breakdown against Medvedev. Who won that?
The GOAT, the king of clay.
Yeah. So that's why I understand that why the Alcaraz name is trending, why people will back Alcaraz. But you don't count out Djokovic simply because not just is he a phenomenal player, Djokovic is perhaps the grittiest player out there. Yeah. He will win even when playing his worst. He will find a way. That's why he's Djokovic, that's why he's going for his 23rd. And that's the motivation, right? He could have probably been ahead in this GOAT race had he just taken the vaccine. He didn't, right? So he has a point to prove. And I think all the tennis players out there know that beating Djokovic in a tournament is easy. Beating Djokovic in a Grand Slam requires superhuman skills.
Yeah. You have backed Alcaraz in our own group where we have backed players.
Oh, by the way, I forgot. That's the sweepstakes. Okay, I'm going for Djokovic.
You're going for Djokovic.
Pre-tournament when he was losing.
Yeah, exactly. So, do you still think that he's the man?
By the way, I backed Alcaraz for different reasons. For competition, for diversity's sake, so that we have more options and it makes the bet more interesting.
No, there was no bet there. The person who bet on Medvedev, I'm betting
has disappeared. Has disappeared. But again, you can never bet against Novak Djokovic in a Grand Slam tournament. I mean, a few days back, I was just looking at his record at Grand Slams. I think since 2018 Wimbledon, he won that title. In completed matches, I think only 3 players have beaten them.
Nadal?
Medvedev
in that US final.
And I think...
that's it.
Nadal and Medvedev. Maybe it was 2 then, yeah. So, his record is phenomenal. On his day, he is still the best player in the world.
And on his worst day also, he is the...
On his worst day, a player will have to be at a very high level to beat him at a Grand Slam tournament. Carlos Alcaraz is...
No, I'm taking you back to the Wimbledon final in 19. Federer had match point.
Yeah.
He couldn't win.
Yeah.
And Federer was perhaps still playing... That was the last we saw Federer at his peak, right? Yeah. And Djokovic somehow, from nowhere, there was a period he wasn't playing at his best. He still won it.
Yeah. So, but today, the difference is that Djokovic will have to be at a very high level to beat Carlos Alcaraz, who has proven himself to be the flag bearer of the next generation, as Medvedev was. But now he has gone ahead of Medvedev in terms of his performances, which have been, over the last year, they have been phenomenal. His rise is outstanding. And now he's shown that he can do it at Grand Slams. Remember, this is the first Grand Slam he's playing as a major champion. Yeah. And he, again, on clay, his favorite surface, he has done extremely well. But this will be his biggest test. Yeah. And for both Djokovic and Alcaraz, this will be the real litmus test for both of them. And I just
hope... a feeling that whoever wins this wins it? On Sunday?
You have to say... you have
the
to say
favorites.
Yeah, they are the favorites.
Yeah, I mean, Ruud versus Zverev is also going to be a very interesting match. Ruud reached last year's final, and Zverev obviously was unlucky last year, but again,
but Zverev was playing
at
a very high level. I've never saw Nadal really tested except that
Yeah,
match.
and he's proven he's the 22nd seed, but the way he has played in this tournament, he's back and
But
he's
that
also
22nd seed is not exactly fair because of his injury layoff.
So he's also that, but you'll have to say that one of Djokovic and Alcaraz will be the favorite without a doubt.
In the only encounter between Djokovic and Alcaraz, Alcaraz won it. But
Yeah,
again,
but hang on,
as you said,
7-6, 7-5, 7-6, 7-5. It was a 7-5 in the decider
Yeah.
and 7-6, 6-7 on the other side. Okay, just again 3 sets. I'm coming back to that. 3 sets. You see, perhaps skill-wise, there are other players who are better than Djokovic.
Yeah.
Federer any day better player. I would say Federer any day better player than Nadal also, across all surfaces.
Yeah.
Okay, but the mindset that you need to win a Grand Slam is very different. We've seen very good players not win Grand Slams.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this generation. Tsitsipas. Is he not good enough to win a Grand Slam? Of course he is. Medvedev. Correct?
He has one.
But after
Just
that,
one.
he's like,
Just
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Okay, just one.
Zverev.
Zverev. Dimitrov, at a point where Dimitrov was
Grigor
supposed to be the challenger. So a lot of players have reached that stage. That winning a Grand Slam is very difficult, and I think it's also best of 5 sets.
Yeah.
That plays a difference. And will the mind admit defeat? There's a story you wrote this morning, which is what very intrigued me. That Djokovic has won every tiebreaker he's
every
played.
tiebreaker, yeah. And of the 43 points he has won, he has never made an unforced error.
That Wimbledon final against Federer,
Yeah.
match tiebreak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
came
So
through that.
tiebreak, I think there's
No, but that shows a tiebreaker shows how switched on you are.
Yeah, I think he's different. He's built different. Djokovic's mentality since 2011, it's changed.
No, Vidur, not no. I
but
would say
back,
when he reached that
Yeah.
peak in 16, then that slide
course,
when he lost to Cecchinato, when he was
Yeah.
losing everywhere. Then when he under Becker when he came back, I think 18 Wimbledon was the turning point. Since then he hasn't looked back. And I think also what happened last year in Australia and that sort of taken him to a different level. Mentally, when you've hit rock bottom, I mean, what worse can happen to you? It's almost thrown into jail.
Yeah. I mean, I was reading an article which said, they are clutch players and then there is Djokovic. I think that describes him really well.
Yeah, so Alcaraz, on the other hand, is the young gun. Everyone expects him, youthful exuberance, 16-year age difference. This is actually what we need to talk about is this generational battle.
Yeah.
That Alcaraz is the only one who has emerged from the pack, who has sort of taken it to these two veterans.
All these ATP final winners, they were touted as the next big thing, but to be honest, no one
Zverev
has
hasn't won.
No one has
Medvedev hasn't won.
Yeah.
Just won 2021. But that was also a great win, by the way. 3 sets, Djokovic going for the Golden Slam, the Grand Slam. So.
Yeah. But then Medvedev has he hasn't continued that form. There was a dip, and then again he was back, and then he lost in the first round.
I think what Alcaraz brings is like with Nadal, you had that top spin and whatever. I think he mixes it up very well.
Yeah.
The kick serve happens, or you get him those drop shots, and he's a bundle of energy. But on the other end is Djokovic, who, if you go back long time back, 89, Michael Chang, will just chase everything down and keep it solid. Return.
best returner in the game.
Yeah,
Novak Djokovic.
return, and you make the error.
But I haven't seen Stefanos Tsitsipas being, dominated like what Alcaraz did in the quarterfinal. He didn't let him win anything.
But he calls it his best match. Yeah. But I'm going back to the first round when he says, I felt invincible.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it in a different way. If I'm Alcaraz and I'm going into this match and I'm playing Djokovic, am I under pressure? You may be playing the best, but you also know who you're playing. And you know that the guy on the other end is going to sort of give everything back. Alcaraz went into the French last year as a favourite. Didn't win.
Yeah.
I think
Pressure
it's
does
very-
funny things.
It's difficult to say who the favorite is. It completely depends on how you look at it. Djokovic, because going into Wimbledon and US Open, he believes that he is going to win another Grand Slam this year.
Another
so
two.
Another 2, yeah. So he's going to be the favorite for Wimbledon. He's He's
won how many in a row?
4 in a row, and he's won what 6 or 7 Wimbledon overall.
Yeah, I think it's
Just-
one behind. He's 6.
Yeah. So he's going to be the favorite for that, and he's thinking about the GOAT race. whether he
that's
likes
it
it
now.
or not.
Yeah.
He's thinking about the GOAT race. So that way, I think he will play with a little bit of freedom. Alcaraz, on the other hand, this is like I said before, this is the first time he's playing as a major winner. So you might think that a little bit of he will have that in the back of his head. But
And has he been tested? Apart from that Taro Daniel game, has he been tested? I mean, Djokovic came through a bruiser against Khachanov.
yeah. But again, you knew
Yeah.
once Djokovic gets back in a contest,
Exactly.
it's done.
Exactly.
It's done.
You know that zone that now Djokovic is back, and from then on, it's different.
that is something we don't know yet about Carlos Alcaraz.
Very interesting point.
Yeah. So experience shows, and his mentality, as Digvijay was saying in the 2019 Wimbledon final, it wasn't one championship point.
Yeah.
2 championship points Federer had, and Djokovic is ice cold at every point. Something that also Rafael Nadal has. So again, when it comes to crunch time, you would always back Djokovic. So if a tiebreaker, it's a 5th set tiebreak, Djokovic winning.
Okay, no questions, but Wonder El Akabu says, nice topic. Thank you, WION, for covering this. Thank you so much. Nice pat on the back. Huh? Should you guys pat me on the back?
That's new.
Man, I chose it. And even Deng, Achol, Mayot Singh, very impressive. I'm
Very
curious, what is impressive? Are we very impressive?
It's Friday, we'll take the compliment.
So the poll. Okay, before we get to the poll, who's winning? Nikhil Mathur, come on, you're asking us the questions, putting it on the mat.
I would stick to my bat and say Alcaraz, not changing it now.
Is it?
I will never bet against Novak Djokovic. Djokovic is going to win.
But you already have.
Tanya, who's winning? Come here. Jhalak dikhla ja. Tanya, who's winning?
I think Djokovic is literally he's the winner for sure.
Okay.
100%.
Djokovic for me as well. I've always sort of believed that Djokovic is going to win this. And again, if you want to take out the Djokovic's or the Nadals of the world, you do it in the earlier rounds. We forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
These players sort of peak in the second week of a Grand Slam.
So we have, can Alcaraz deny
Very
Djokovic
close.
a shot at 23rd Grand Slam title? 53% say yes. I mean, they think that Alcaraz will defeat Djokovic in the final. 47% say no. Djokovic is going to cruise through the final.
This is in that error margin, no? This is 3% swing.
yeah.
This comes in the error margin.
Yeah, probably a lot of youngsters who want a 20-year-old from Spain to beat.
If I'm Nadal, I want Alcaraz to win. No, we stay on 22. No, but I don't think they're going to grudge him. If he wins it after what he's gone through, he's not the most popular. And after that, how can there be a Grand Slam without a Djokovic controversy? A lot of people tell me about Djokovic that he's got his heart in the right place.
Yeah.
But the establishment doesn't see it that way.
And also, you never know about the French crowd. They have been booing and supporting stuff that you can't predict. So Djokovic would definitely.
Djokovic usually doesn't have crowd support wherever he plays.
French Open, you never know.
No, Australian Open.
Australian Open does.
He's the king.
In fact, in the match that he lost against Medvedev in 2021 US Open final, he had the crowd support.
Yeah.
And he was very grateful for that. Yeah.
So
Okay, what's happening at 6:30?
in the women's draw, Arina Sabalenka, world number 2, was stunned.
5-2 up, by the way, in the
5-2
third.
up. Yes.
Yeah.
She had match point, and Mukova
That's
came
called
back.
a choke.
Yeah, well, credit to Mukova, but
Mukova
she
played
played
well.
very well.
And what story? Mukova was told she can't play sport
Yeah.
again. She was down and out last year on a wheelchair, had multiple issues. But that's the will of a champion.
And
But I just think it makes it easy for Iga. Iga's through as well, by the way.
Yeah, just a little pointer. Iga Swiatek coming through her toughest test of the tournament so far.
Yeah.
She was taken to a tie-break for the first time by B3's Haddad Maya. And
She played really well. I mean,
yes, definitely. But again, Swiatek through without dropping a set to the final. Overwhelming favorite for that third French Open crown and fourth Grand Slam title.
And moving on, we also have 60,000 fans turning up to see Benzema in Saudi Arabia. And we're also going to look ahead to the UEFA Champions League final between Manchester City and Inter Milan. Both teams are in Istanbul.
yeah. And golf.
Oh. The best thing about the Canadian Open was last year, Liv hit. This time, again, Liv hits. But Rory McIlroy walks the starting tee on the back nine. So this is probably the 10th with Justin Rose, and they start talking. And both obviously Ryder Cup teammates for Europe, former world number ones, big personalities, stature, and they start off about the merger, and then they decide for the next 5 hours, our life anyway is being dominated by this. Let's concentrate on golf for the next 5 hours. They played that. Rory 1 under, Rose 3 under, finishes with 4 birdies in a row. Lead is with 4 people, including Corey Connors, who's aiming to be the first Canadian to win since 1954. But Rory McIlroy is saying the toughest time he's ever had as a golfer was facing the press conference the previous day when he was torn apart, questioned about his links in backing the PGA Tour and the fact that he said he's been held out like a sacrificial lamb. A lot of PGA Tour players are now saying that if this is going to be a for-profit company, we deserve something for being loyal to the PGA Tour. I think the Saudis have got their way. I think the PGA Tour's problems are just starting. It's not a win. A lot of people are trying to spin it as a win. It's not a win.
Yeah. So all that and much more on our show at 6:30 p.m. IST. Thanks for tuning in.